Hey, what's up YouTube? Down the Smartphone Guy coming back at you with another video, and tonight we're going to do a comparison of two devices that a lot of people have been asking about, and they've been asking me to compare these two devices. In my right hand I have the Essential phone, and in my left hand I have the OnePlus 5T. So both these phones right now are right around $500, and they're both unlocked. Now in my left hand the OnePlus 5T is only GSM unlocked, so it'll only work for T-Mobile, AT&T, Cricket, Metro PCS, any GSM network essentially, whereas the Essential phone is available for any of the major networks in the United States. So both phones are right around $500. So let's go ahead and compare some of the other things that might be important when you're considering your purchase of either one of these two phones. Alright, so let's start off this competition talking about the build quality between these two devices. So I will say for me personally, the one that I prefer is the OnePlus 5T simply because of how it feels in the hand, and I do like the little bit larger build of the phone as well. Now, this is definitely not as premium. This is an aluminum phone versus the Essential phone being made out of titanium and out of ceramic. So ceramic back, titanium on the sides. This one I would say definitely looks more premium. It's definitely the one that's going to turn more heads. It also has modularity built into it. So right now there's just that 360 cam, but that's a nice option. It's there, it's available, and it has that basically full screen display here. Now this one actually has a little bit higher resolution display too, so this one is nearly 2K, not quite 2K display, but is an IPS display, whereas on the OnePlus 5T we have a Super AMOLED display, and it's only basically the same pixel count as a 1080p screen. Now both screens look great. I really have no complaints about either of them. For me personally, the OnePlus 5T feels a little bit better in the hand, and I do like that taller screen, even though it's 18:9, so with some apps it still doesn't work perfect. Like if you go into YouTube and you're watching a video, you do have to kind of zoom in on the picture, so you're going to crop out some things. But still, I think personally for me, the OnePlus 5T just has a little bit better build in terms of how I like to use my devices. So in terms of performance, that's an area where I would say these two are basically a draw. The only slight edge I would give to is the OnePlus 5T. So they both have the Snapdragon 835 processor. The Essential phone has 4 gigs of RAM, whereas the OnePlus 5T has 8 gigs of RAM or 6 gigs of RAM, depending on which version you have. I happen to have the 8 gig of RAM version, but you can see in terms of multi-core score and single core score, it's pretty similar. I really don't notice any difference. Both phones are very snappy. There's really no issues between those, opening apps basically about the same amount of time. And actually, in terms of RAM management, they both do a really good job. There's really no major difference between the two. Both phones are very fast. The one area that I would say maybe is just a slight advantage for the OnePlus 5T is that there's still just a few software quirks every once in a while you run into them on the Essential phone, whereas I've not had that at all in the OnePlus 5T. So it's rare with the Essential phone. They've done a lot of updates to that software to optimize it, but every once in a while you'll just run into those, and so that would be maybe just a slight advantage to the OnePlus 5T. Now in terms of cameras, I definitely think the OnePlus 5T has the advantage here. So we have two cameras here. So we have a 20 megapixel and a 16 megapixel camera. The 20 megapixel camera is a telephoto lens, so you can actually zoom in at 2 times, and then we have a 16 megapixel camera on the front. But overall, I would say that both the video quality and the camera quality of the OnePlus 5T is definitely better. Of course, you can do the portrait mode with the OnePlus 5T that you can't do with the Essential phone. And with the Essential phone, I actually had to download the Google camera because the camera on it just took some pretty slow pictures. Now this is actually in HDR right now, so that's why it was a little bit slower there. But overall, I have a better experience with the OnePlus 5T in terms of the cameras. Now, the Essential phone, at first when it came out, people talked about how bad the cameras were. That has definitely improved. The camera quality is not nearly as bad as what it was when the phone first came out. So the front-facing camera, definitely not as good as the OnePlus 5T. You're just not going to get as quality of video. It's not bad video quality, but the OnePlus 5T for me just does a little little bit better job. And with the rear cameras, you have a monochrome, basically allows you to take black and white photos, and then just the regular sensor. So I just find that the OnePlus 5T overall takes the better photos, whether it be in low light, whether it be video. Everything about the cameras on the OnePlus 5T I would say is a winner. Not that the Essential phone has bad cameras, so I don't want you guys to think that the Essential phone has terrible cameras. It's just that the OnePlus 5T has the more consistently good cameras. So that is the cameras. Now in terms of battery life, again, that's where the OnePlus 5T is going to shine. So I'm averaging right around 6 hours of screen on time. So let's go ahead and go into my battery life this time around. So this is my third full day of using it. So if I go into the battery, this is, I've been using it all day today. It's at 25%, and you can see I have 5 hours of screen on time. That's been pretty typical. So right around 6 hours, maybe I could squeeze out 7 hours of screen on time, but not something that I've tried to do. But right around 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, whereas with the Essential phone, I'm getting right around 5 hours of screen on time, which is to say, in terms of a daily usage, so obviously I'm finishing the day here on the OnePlus 5T with about 25%, whereas on the Essential phone, I was usually right around 15%, 10% at the end of a full day of usage, and that's with 5 hours of screen on time typical. It's been pretty normal, and it's been pretty standard with the Essential phone. So not that this is a bad battery by any means, but definitely without a doubt I'm getting a little bit better battery life on the OnePlus 5T. So far in every way the OnePlus 5T beats out the Essential phone. Now let's go ahead and talk about the software. So this is a little bit of a mixed bag. Because the Essential phone definitely is getting the faster software updates. So I think since I've got this phone, I think it's had 3 software updates already. So they are definitely rolling out the software updates on the Essential phone very, very quickly. And I believe it's probably already on the November security patch, but let's just go ahead and double check that. But yeah, it's been very, very quick so it's already on the November security patch, whereas the OnePlus 5T, obviously I've only had it for 3 days now, but let's go ahead and just double check and see what kind of software. So they're both running Android 7.1.1, but you do actually have the option of getting the beta software for Android Oreo on the Essential phone, where obviously that's not available on the OnePlus 5T. So you can see we have the October security patch on a phone that's only been out for like 3 days now, or at least I've only had it for 3 days. So I would say in terms of software updates, if you want the fastest software updates, you're definitely going to want to go with the Essential phone, whereas if you want the, I would say, more complete software experience, I think the OnePlus 5T definitely takes the cake there. And the reason I say that is just because they have so many tweaks in the software. They're very, very useful. So we have gestures, we have that alert slider, so that's over here. We can just switch the buttons. We can do some different things with the buttons, so that's really nice. The gestures are really nice, so we can do the swipe the fingerprint for notifications. That's just using the fingerprint sensor, which actually is available on the Essential phone as well. But you can see there are a number of things here. So double tap to wake. I do like that 3-finger screenshot. Basically, you just swipe down with 3 fingers, takes a screenshot just like it did right there. And there are some gestures that are available when the screen is off, so I can draw a circle, and you can see that I've used that to open up my camera. So all kinds of software tweaks that are available on the OnePlus 5T that you just don't get on the Essential phone. This is definitely a more stock experience. Now, like I mentioned, we do have that fingerprint sensor thing where we can just swipe down on the fingerprint sensor to swipe down our notification shade, so that's nice, but certainly more of a stock software experience on the Essential phone. Now, in terms of the speaker, they both have decent speakers. They both have bottom firing speakers. They get quite loud. The OnePlus 5T, I think, has the better speaker of the two, but it's nearly a draw. It's really not a major win for either phone in terms of the speaker. Now, neither phone features waterproofing, although actually technically the Essential phone does have, I believe, IP54 water certification, whereas there is technically no water certification on the OnePlus 5T. You can watch some videos where people actually put it underwater and it does okay, but this one doesn't have any kind of O-ring around the SIM card, whereas I believe the Essential phone did. But either way, it's IP54 water certified. And so this one's technically splash proof, whereas the OnePlus 5T doesn't even have that. So maybe that's probably a win for the Essential phone in terms of waterproofing. Now, in terms of audio, the DAC on the Essential phone is fantastic. So if you have some nice high-end headphones and you plug in the Type-C adapter that has a DAC built into it, you get some excellent audio out of the Essential phone. But the OnePlus 5T does have that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the bottom. So I give, again, kind of the edge to the OnePlus 5T because of the fact that it does have that 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. So that is nice. And then the last area I want to talk about is, and I've kind of already mentioned this, is the fact that this one is only GSM unlocked, whereas the Essential phone is unlocked for CDMA and GSM. So basically you can use this on any network inside the United States, whereas the OnePlus 5T is only going to be good on the GSM network. So that's definitely a limit to the OnePlus 5T. So overall, which phone is better for you? Obviously, that's going to depend on your usage. For me personally, the OnePlus 5T is the one that I think wins in just about every category. Now, build quality wise, I think the Essential phone probably takes the win, but for my personal usage and day-to-day usage, I think the OnePlus 5T at around, for the version I have, $550, I just think even when compared to some other devices that I have over here, like this one right here, the Google Pixel 2 XL. If I were to choose between one of these two devices, honestly, right now, because of the fact that the OnePlus 5T is basically $400 cheaper, or $300 cheaper, $300 to $400 cheaper, the OnePlus 5T is just a fantastic device that I would recommend anyone picking up. There's really no major flaws with this phone other than maybe if waterproofing is super important to you, it doesn't have that. But other than that, this is just an absolutely fantastic device. And call me a OnePlus 5 or just a OnePlus fanboy, that's fine. I'm okay with that, but I really like the OnePlus 5T. Thanks for watching. I hope this review has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.